Hello ladies and jelly spoons, and welcome to the Mechanics of Mario Kart, episode 2. Now I'm going to show you how the plausible becomes the probable when you're racing. Because I can tell you 1,000 different times and show you 1,000 different ways, and there were probably a million different combinations. But to see them actually applied is a different story. So I'm going to show you in a time trial one of the routes that you could take, and these aren't the normal routes of the race. So I'm just going to show you what I mean. There's 3 laps, and I'm going to show you the regular way, and then I'm going to show you the possible way, and then I'm going to show you what you could do with tricking combinations and these new routes that implement wall riding, rail grinding, wall flipping, air tricking, back flipping, double dipping when it comes to Mario Kart World, because it's insane. So let's check out one of my favorite courses. I hated when I started it. It was called Salty Speedway. Now I absolutely love it because it's a playground. And when I get a chance to race people, it becomes amazing, even online, because the people who know about it, it's a battle between us and us. The people who don't know about it, they're still on the lower tier level, and unfortunately it's a disservice because what works on the computer will not work on actual racers. So it's a difference between racing the computer's AI, which is incredibly hard, don't get me wrong at all. This is the hardest computer AI Mario Kart has ever had. It actively thinks, and the AI is programmed to learn you. And believe it or not, the game adapts to your gameplay. So if you're speeding and high tricking and doing high level of detail, the game scales it up. Anybody who's ever been on a knockout tour knows that last lap, even against the computer, is almost impossible sometimes to win. The computer is ahead of you by so far, it is impossible to catch up. That's because of the level of gameplay of all the rounds that you went and knock out. So it sees that you're on that level and it holds you on that level. Now if you play at a lower level, the computer will be on a lower level, but be careful, you'll get burned because sometimes the computer knows what you're doing and will take advantage of that. So let's jump into Salty Speedway and let me show you the 3 possible ways, and there are probably 1,000 more ways that I don't even know, but I'm gonna show you what I've learned recently. Welcome to the Mechanics of Mario Kart. This is Mario Kart World, Salty Speedway. All right, ladies and jelly spoons, this is Salty Speedway, and we are gonna do what's called a solo race or a time trial. So we're gonna take the regular route the first way around. First lap, we're gonna take the level that everybody takes as a beginner. All right, you should know how to boost off at the start. So you have a left right here, and then a right, and then you come up to this point right here. There's a lot going on, and I'm gonna show you all of that actually matters. So you grind around these corners like this, and then you jump. Yeah, you can use your tricks. There's nothing wrong with using your tricks. And then you come down here, and it's a hard, try to keep your angle straight, but it's a hard left and right across. And there are these little access points that you can go across. Now, that is one way, the beginner way of doing it. Now, the second way is when you learn that taking the left or right stairs will actually yield you actual better results on the ground. And then you learn that if you jump here and hit here, that there's something up here that you didn't even know about, and there's a path up here, though it's maybe blocked by crates. There is a path up here, and it's a totally different path from where you took. I know, it's insane, right? And then you learn that there's all these little paths up here that you never even knew before, and they're really cool. And then you learn that you can come over here and there's something up there that you never saw before. And then there's the way that I just learned to take. Now, if you didn't catch that, there was a jump over here that you can take that takes you up here. This is a totally different route from down there. And this one, some people will say, is even faster. So you just saw 3 different ways to play the same exact level. And I haven't even gotten into the other shortcuts and wall rides. So you just saw a level of this in what we call time trials. And yes, I made a lot of mistakes to show you the avenues, and I did rewinds. I love the rewind feature, but you got a chance to see these things in practicality. Now, that last shortcut that you just saw, that can be used in an actual race, and it will skew a huge amount of time off your level. You want to see what that looks like in an actual race? Let's take you there. All right, I actually captured myself in a race doing just that. Now remember, I went up to the wall, I hit the wall, I hit people. As you can see, some people know about it. Jumping over to this avoids the blocks. There's still more people. I missed his turtle, flipped over the head, popped over the top, and this is where, like I said, just that level of learn and trick and difficulty comes in handy. And this is the level that people are playing right now. This is an extreme level of difficulty. But as you see, this is Mario Kart World. So what I just learned, people already knew about. And like I said, there are so many things people are learning every single last day when it comes to Mario Kart. So when you get online and you race people, they are on another level of skill altogether. And if you honestly have any choice or any chance of winning, you have got to learn to trick, you have got to learn to flip, you have got to learn to grind, and you have got to learn to take these multiple different avenues. Some of them take major time completely off your track. And when it comes down to inches, that's all that matters between a first place victory and a last place victory. So there it is. There it is in application. There it is in trial and error and learning. I showed you Salty Speedway, just a few pathways, a few changes, a few different routes. And as you see, those things take seconds, and your reflexes have to be very fast. When I jumped onto that platform to avoid the boxes, because I showed you when you jumped up, you could go, but the boxes are there. The boxes will be there in actual race too. So if you crash into them, it'll slow you down a little bit. But if somebody else is taking the same route and they take the route that I took, where you go up the wall and then to the brown rail and grind on it, they'll gain a few seconds over you, which could mean the difference between you winning and losing. But then as you saw, that path of going up to the left and right, I cut out that entire waterway altogether. And up there on the ground, the actual asphalt, you're faster than you are in the water. So when you come around that corner and you jump off the top, you're ahead of the pack by far. But once people start knowing those strategies, more people start learning those strategies, then you have to adapt. And that is where the performance level of Mario Kart comes in. As you saw it in practice. You saw the beginner level of just staying in the middle of the track and trying to beat people going around the actual course. That is the beginner level, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with having the antenna on, which is smart steering, which keeps you from falling off the edges and taking any of these paths. But once you take the training wheels off on Mario Kart and you're ready to really operate at a true Mario Kart World level, it's a different level of skill. That's why I'm glad they called it Mario Kart World. It's kind of like when you're at like nationals and championships and then you go to World. World is a different level of competition. The same thing applies in Mario Kart. You have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a great trainer. But when it comes to Mario Kart World, you have to take those things that you learned that work and adapt them to this new strategy. which is tricking, wall grinding, rail riding, front flipping, back flipping, side tricking, front tricking, back tricking, air tricking, double tricking, standing double tricking. Literally, if you're just driving, you can do a standing trick boost. That can take you onto top of people's heads, onto a wall, onto a ride. And these avenues all yield different results. Some extremely great, some extremely terrible, and you will literally lose the race. But if you don't take the risk, it's not worth the reward. But when you're able to pull it off in application, as you saw, both in a real race, like I just showed you, it becomes a different level of skill. And I can't explain to you how great it feels for you to be able to do these things and make these amazing new paths your own and part of your normal driving. And it's funny because you see it in people's Mario Kart skills when they drive, and you can tell when somebody's a beginner and when somebody's intermediate and when they're on the pro level of Mario Kart racing, because they do some of these things where you're like, how in the hell are you doing that? But when you learn and you get it, you're like, wow, that's insane. I had no idea you could do that. But this is why I tell you, time trials are they're so key in learning the levels. They're so key in learning the strategies. They're so key in learning things. Because when you're in a race, you don't have time to see some of these things. But when you're in time trials and you're driving around, it's more relaxed. And you get to see things that you never got to see before. So this was Salty Speedway, sections of it, both in practical, application, intermediate, beginner, intermediate, and professional. Now, I've seen people do even higher skilled things on this board than I'm even capable of doing. And I would love to be that way someday. But when you go inside the mechanics of Mario Kart, I'm so glad Mario Kart World exists, because between 8 and World is a whole other level of Mario Kart training. And every Mario Kart has its own intricate mechanics, but Mario Kart World is the king. I'll see you next time on Inside the Mario Mechanics. Mario Kart Mechanics. Who would have thought?